East and West learning connections.
Helps people of different cultures break barriers and connect with each other.
Good afternoon, everyone. So for those who don't know me, my name is Chloe Meng. Our beloved hostess, Alan, she's on a very deserved vacation. So today I'm going to be the moderator. Before we start today's session, a quick note. The Coaching Hour on Business Communication series has been supported by over many years by East and West Learning Connections, a non-for-profit organization focused on cross-cultural learning. So this year, we have the honor to be supported by National Communication Coach Association of Canada, where our beloved coach, Ric Phillips, serves as the executive director right there. It's always great to see both familiar faces and new faces. Thank you so much for being part of the community. Let's get started. Last month, we had a session with Coach Ric. It's called Persuasion, Ethos, Pathos, and Logos. So that session went really well, and we received a lot of requests saying we need an online practice session. So here we are. And because we all have the ideas that could help us or could help others, right? But sometimes it's hard to find the right words, timing, or confidence to share them. So last time, Coach Ric mentioned practicing persuasion in low-stake situation helps those skills come more naturally when they are really needed. So that matters. Today we invited back Ric, and we will have the practice session. We will have breakout rooms for practice and coach feedback. And I would highly encourage everyone to try, learn, and have some fun. So, Ric, please have the stage.
Thank you so much, Chloe. Welcome, everyone. It's good to be back. I'm going to immediately jump in and share my screen so I can show you a little bit of slides to get started. So I'm going to put this, when I press this button, like so, we'll go into full presentation mode. It means I won't be able to see the chat. So I'll just ask Chloe to keep an eye. If anyone has any questions in the chat, please do let us know. Okay, so it's May, and we're looking at strategies for persuading stakeholders to support a new idea, part two. Here we go. For those of you that don't know me or NCCA Canada, my name is Ric Phillips. My background, sociology, psychology, MBA later on in life, teaching English as second language. I did a TED Talk in 2016. I'm executive director of NCCA Canada, as well as a designated coach. And I run a company called 3V Communications, which is communication coaching and training, speaking. I also work at a charity called YETI, York Entrepreneurship Development Institute, where we train entrepreneurs for profit and non-profit, both here and abroad. And I'm fortunate enough to be on a Global Gurus listing under the category of communication professional since 2022. Which means that maybe some of my work is getting recognized, which is really exciting for me. So all of this to say that I do coaching and training and teaching all the time for business communication skills or interpersonal communication skills. NCCA Canada is a nonprofit, and we designed it as a home for Canadian communication coaches and trainers as one of our main target markets, but we also offer to the public networking and communication skill development as well. So we have promote professional standards and designation for our coaches, but we have these professional development and networking events or workshops, webinars open to anyone, including yourselves. So if you're interested in any of those, you can go to nccacanada.org/events, and you'll see our calendar and you can see what's coming up. And I'll plug it at the end as well, because we have a couple of events coming up in June. Okay. Today's topic, persuading stakeholders to support the new idea, part two. So our agenda today is, what is persuasion? I'm just going to do a quick recap, because last time we did, just to remind people in case there's anyone who's new to this, who didn't see the last one. And then we're going to get right into looking at a simple verbal formula from Aristotle on persuasion. And then we're going to practice and get some feedback and hopefully have a chance to practice again with some different topics. So that's it. Q&A at the end or all the way forward. And so just to start off, I want everyone to think, what is persuasion? What does it mean to you? And just think in your head, what does that word mean to you? And you can think, first of all, is it a positive word or a negative word in your mind, in your feeling? That's the first thing I want you to think about. If you feel it's positive, maybe you've got some positive experiences with this world of persuasion. And if you feel it's negative, maybe you've had some negative experiences. If you feel neutral, maybe you don't have a lot of experience or don't have any feelings attached to it. But I do want to mention that feelings are a big part of how we interpret our world and our words around us. So a lot of people might also think about persuasion is convincing, is manipulation, is selling, is lying. And you can see where that trail goes. So if someone has a bit of a negative emotion attached to persuasion, it ends up going down to lying and deceit and fooling people. And they say, well, I don't want to have anything to do with that. I don't want to learn persuasion. I don't want to be a so-called bad salesperson or tricky, shady person. And so that's the warning that I wanted to give you last time and this time is you got to stop thinking about persuasion as a dirty word. The question, is it unethical or cheating? You decide. I would like to say that. You decide if persuasion is used unethically or if it's used to cheat. So you have control. That is the message. Like any communication technique, you choose. If you want to use it for bad situations, you can. But assuming you don't, then you'll use it for good situation. You'll use it to help people and help yourself. And that's what we're teaching. So it doesn't have to be unethical. It doesn't have to be to give you this feeling that you fooled someone or cheated someone. Okay, that's very, very important. And I say that because if you are a salesperson, entrepreneur, marketer, manager, you can't go around with the feeling that persuasion is something bad to be avoided, because it's going to affect how well you do your job. Okay, moving on. Persuasion helps others see a point of view that is beneficial to them and you, so both people. That's what persuasion should be. It helps others see a point of view that they're not looking at or they're not seeing clearly that will benefit them, not take away from them, benefit them, and hopefully benefit you both or all parties. That definition is what should guide you of how to use persuasion. Persuasion assists in your effective communication at work to get so-called buy-in. And buy-in is this funny little phrase that's been around for 10 years, meaning to persuade others at work, to get them to buy into your idea, your suggestion, your proposal at the meeting, etc. But that's an important part. We're working on teams, we're working with other teams, other departments. We have suggestions, we have maybe more than a suggestion. Maybe we have, you must do this by 5 p.m. Maybe it's a little bit stronger than a suggestion. We can often find ourselves in a situation where we need persuasion. Maybe the person or people are not doing it in time. Maybe they're not getting things done on time. Maybe they're not interested. Maybe they don't understand why doing that you suggest will benefit them. So we need them to understand that if they do what you tell them, it's going to be good for them. So we get the last bullet point here. Get them to do things you want them to do and not feel bad about it. This is the key. You don't feel bad about it because you didn't lie or cheat. They don't feel bad about it because it doesn't hurt them. This is the underlying principle of proper persuasion, is you help someone understand something from a certain point of view that is beneficial to them and you. That's persuasion. So with that in mind, we're going to practice today. As mentioned last time, there was an old guy named Aristotle who gave a lot of advice and wrote a lot of famous books and was a famous person, a thinker and a scholar and a philosopher and all the good things. And he had 3 points of persuasion for public speaking. So his model was, if you're going to, let's say, go to the town square and say something, promote something, talk politics, talk philosophy, then you had to have these 3 elements that we're going to discuss: ethos, pathos, logos. However, today we can use this idea not just for public speaking or pitching, but we can also use it for just simple conversations, whether it's low stake environment, like what are we going to have for lunch, or whether it's higher stake environment at work where we're trying to persuade people to do something or buy something or move in a certain direction. So ethos means credibility. And when we say credibility, it means credibility of you, the speaker, the presenter, and your idea. So there's 2 points here. For example, right now I'm speaking to you and I'm teaching you. So what's the credibility of me? Why should you listen to me and my ideas? Right? It's a good question. Hence why we have all this. Right? This logo soup slide, as we call it, is a snapshot of me saying, hey, I'm not, this is a little bit of me and a little bit of my resume, and here's where my ideas come from. So this here is a credibility slide. You're not going to put your whole resume somewhere, but you can put some key things to highlight it. So that's exactly what I'm doing there. And you can do the same thing when you do your presentations, by the way, at work or your meetings. If you're doing any type of slideshow, if you're not using slides, you can just maybe speak about them. But it is important to establish your credibility if you're with people that don't know you, and or the credibility of your idea if it's a new idea. So where did you get this idea? Has it been tried before? How do you know it's going to work? Are there other people helping you? Are there other systems? Like, just describe a little bit of the credibility that you want to support your suggestion, your advice. With pathos, it means emotional appeal. And emotions, simply speaking, can be categorized into 2, pain and pleasure. So yes, there's more emotions, but essentially we motivate ourselves by either going towards pleasure, which is towards resources, towards something safe, secure, fun, relaxing, or we navigate ourselves by avoiding painful situations. Pain could be something uncomfortable, something takes away our resources, something costs money, etc. A lot of more money than we want to pay. So essentially, we're navigating a world by going towards something safe and comfortable and pleasurable, and or avoiding something uncomfortable, painful, difficult that will do us some kind of harm. When we mention these pain points or pleasure points to the other person, we can let them know, hey, if you follow my advice, here's some good stuff you'll get, and here's some bad stuff you will avoid. That's pathos. Both are effective. Pain is a little bit more of a stronger motivator with humans, but mentioning both is ideal. And the last is logos, which stands for logical appeal, using some logic in the argument. The easiest way to use logic is to use some kind of number, because numbers are a universal language regardless of someone's culture, education, what country they came from. Everybody understands. So for example, if we meet a student from Pakistan and the student says, I was a very good student in Pakistan, great. But we don't know what that means if we don't have any direct experience in Pakistan, right? But if the student says, I had a 98% average my last year of university or my last year of high school, we understand 98%. In any country, we understand 98%. So that's what I mean by using numbers. They illustrate clearly something that we can all understand. Another example would be something on sale. You're going to buy an item on sale and there's a sticker, sale price, 10% off, 20% off, or buy one, get one free, or 2 for 1 sale, or minus $10 at checkout. All these numbers make sense to us. Ultimately, we're not going to buy the item just because we're going to save 10%. That's not enough reason. But if there's 3 reasons to buy the item, like we believe the product is good, that's credibility. We want it, it's emotional, we want to gain from it. And then, of course, if to have an extra sale, why not? So that's maybe why we buy that item. So you'll find that ethos, pathos, logos can affect you in your daily life if you're thinking about it. Even as we say, low stakes environments or going out for lunch or buying a product, marketing, you'll see this. Today, we want to practice more specifically business conversations that you might have at work and how you might use this. So without further ado, the idea we're going to do is we're going to practice now. We're going to do breakout sessions. This was something we suggested last time, and many of you supported this idea, so we're going to give it a shot. I will manage the breakouts. what we're going to do is we're going to put you into a breakout room. And one of you has to choose an idea and convince your partner. We're just going to give you a short amount of time. I'm just going to go with 8 minutes. 8 minutes. We need longer than 5 minutes and we need shorter than 10. So I'm going to give you 8 minutes. And with 8 minutes, all you have to do is tell your partner, okay, you're the manager, or and I'm going to convince you. So okay, or like you're the government official, and I'm going to try to convince you to have more green energy items. So whatever you want. There were some different ideas thrown around in the newsletter. It doesn't matter to me. Just pick something, an idea, and then tell your partner, okay, this is your role, and I'm going to speak. You will then present the best of your ability some ethos, pathos logos. 1 or 2 sentences for ethos, 1 or 2 sentences for pathos, 1 or 2 sentences for logos. Don't speak for 5 minutes on ethos. You're going to waste your time. Just try to get a little bit quickly, couple sentences about credibility, couple sentences for emotions, couple sentences for logic, and that's it. Your partner can respond in the role play however they like. And then after, your partner can tell you, well, this is what I liked. I really liked when you said this. I felt that was really strong, really persuasive, or I don't know if that was the best thing, maybe that. So your partner just gives a little bit of honest feedback. Okay. And then we try again. Then when you switch roles, you try it. So my suggestion is pick something simple just to practice this. And it could be an initiative you want to do at work. It could be something of a social issue that you care about and you want to persuade somebody to do something. It could be about persuading your boss to do something. It could be about persuading your team member. It could be about an employee who's always late and you're talking to your employee as a manager about why they should pay more attention to the clock. It's really up to you. But at least try it, ethos, pathos, logos, and then get some feedback. And then we'll come back after 8 minutes as a group and we'll share. We'll share how it's going, and I can offer opinions as well. And then after that, we can either do it again or we can do it together as a big group so everybody can hear everybody. Make sense? So without further ado, is there any questions before I put you into breakouts? Any immediate questions?
So Rick, you mean every two persons in one breakout room?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to see.
And they altogether they had like take 8 minutes. So
Yep.
each one maybe talk about 4 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So that's what I want you to do. If you only have time for one person, that's fine too, because you're both doing the exercise anyway. If you get done faster and you can both do it, that's great. I just don't want to run away with 10 minutes because I don't want people just chatting about the weekend. So let's see what we can do for 8 minutes. So having said that, yep.
Yeah, Rick, I throw some samples. I like topics in that chat for everyone, just for your reference. If you have a new ideas, go ahead, develop your new ideas, but those are for your reference.
I think I'll read them. So the one idea is convince your manager that you are the ideal candidate to lead a new AI initiative. Another idea is persuade stakeholders, finance or executives, that attending a remote summit in person with colleagues will help you work more effectively. And the third idea, convince the public that the government should charge for the DVP. So you can take one of those topics, you can take a different topic, one of you decide, and ethos, pathos, logos, and let's do it. So, okay, having said all that, let me see if I remember how to set up breakout rooms. Here we go. Okay, everyone, we're back. We're recording again. So now it's a chance to chat and share about the experience. What anything is open, just how did it go? What was interesting, what was successful, or if you have any questions. So who wants to start off the conversation with your experience?
So we're room 4. Hello, this is Yang. Chloe chose the second one. So she wanted to convince Jeff and I it's better to attend a in-person meeting remotely. I mean, in a when outside the town. And it's interesting because Chloe started with her credibility, like having been attending lots of events, and she found the in person would be more effective. And I liked the way she said, "Oh, how it was effective," because when she shake hands, that warmth from people's palm, that kind of a feeling. And also she gave some statistics, like, she made it up. But anyway, it's a statistic, like 80% people in the survey, they liked, in-person meeting more. So I think that's pretty much aligned with these three principles. And Jeff made it a true scenario, because he said, "Oh, but we have only this budget, and so why should I?" So we created that conversation. So yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Great summary too, because like I said before, the idea of this so-called quick pitch is just one or two sentences for ethos, one or two sentences for pathos, one or two for logos. And that's the pitch. And as you said, somebody might say yes or no, or but what about this? Or we have this budget constraint, and then the conversation continues. At least you've started things off on the right foot. You've given some points of credibility, and you're in a much stronger position to continue the conversation. So very good example. Thank you, Yang. Excellent.
Thanks. Yeah.
Who else from a different group would like to share?
I can share a bit. I'm Domishan from Group 1. I am with Aiming.
Yes.
And then the other one somehow here. So we choose the topic that the government should charge the DVP. And then, so I mean, it will be the government, and I am the daily driver along DVP. So I have those very painful experience, frustrating, staying in that like a moving parking lot forever. So that's my credibility and also my feeling. That's that. So I thought the government should charge it to kind of limit the usage. So that at least the traffic is more controlled. So at least that will be moving in a more efficient way. So everybody. Okay, so I have 2 points here. I just want to. Can correct me if I'm wrong. So first, I thought that okay, if government charge the if it's a toll charge that the government can get additional revenue to support other needs and initiatives in the community to support what's really in need. However, it's also, but didn't buy that because she thought that because the drivers could be more happier if less traffic in on that road and less pollution. So yeah, so the other points, like we kind of we have but I also added that by charging the road, that the government can also have their revenue to invest on their road as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to add? That's
Yeah, I just want to, so first of all, good job. And secondly, as with everything, we have to know our audience, know who we're speaking to. So if we're speaking to the government, whether it's one person, it's a committee, whoever, the government, what does the government want, right? And that's the question. So the government wants money. The government wants to get reelected again, meaning that the public supports them and feels they're doing a good job. They want some results on their campaign promises. They'll never get them all, but they want some results. So that's what the government wants. Just as an individual politician, let's say you're talking to your local MP or MPP about the issue, that local politician will want to get reelected. So first of all, we understand what that person wants, or that organization wants. And then we frame things from that point of view. So as you said, the credibility is not just yourself and your negative experience with the DVP, but you would bring some sort of information from the public, whether it's statistics or whether it's conversations, but like, hey, it's not just me. I have my experience, and here's a bunch of other people who've also reported or signed a poll or something saying they've had these great, terrible experiences. So that's credibility of not just you, the public, but also the idea. The idea of tolls, you would of course say, well, there's tolls everywhere, including in Ontario. This is not a new thing. It's not hard to implement. The infrastructure wouldn't be difficult to do. And then for pathos, emotions, like I said, it's not just the pain of the public, but the result of relieving the pain of the public is the pleasure of the government. Remember, pain and pleasure. So the feeling is when you make your public happy or your voters happy, they will vote for you. Again, that's the idea. And then, as you said very brilliantly, the money is always a great logos, because who doesn't like to talk money? And again, universal language, money, numbers. So here's what we suggest you'll make, or even just like other tolls in other cities have made X amount. Maybe that's free public information. So I don't know your specifics, but other cities have made lots of money with these tolls. So I'm sure you guys will make lots to reinvest in infrastructure. So exactly right. So whether you were representing the public, yourself, or some other committee, that's a great way to frame things and get the conversation started. Excellent. Good job. Who else might want to share any experiences or have any questions about this exercise?
I can share. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm Katie. I was in a group with Marisol. So we talked about AI. I started with like, I came from China, and the language is was always a problem. It's still always a problem in terms of writing, especially like sending emails to management and to my coworkers, because I'm the only one who was born outside of US in my team. So it was always a problem, and also I was in a Toastmaster to improve my public speaking, and writing the speeches was always a problem for me too. And also I mean I used the AI to double check my emails and to help me writing the speech. It is so effective. It helps me a lot. Now I'm much more confident when I want to give a speech or writing or sending emails. And also, I said when there's a life situation I don't know how to deal with, I use AI, and it gives me such a good idea to, so I use in my life. And then Marisol said, yeah, they are helpful, but then there's an issue about the privacy. And she said she used Google. I mentioned actually Google is AI too, but in terms of privacy, I usually don't say I this, I that. I use the word he, this person. So that way, people don't know it's me. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. So very good. So just to recap how we would use the formula with an AI conversation, the first thing would be, this is my experience with AI, either positively or negatively, depending which way you want to persuade the person, / this is my team or my community's experience with AI. And then the second thing is the idea itself, which in this case, it's AI, or using an AI platform, or using a specific thing like ChatGPT, for example. And you would say, for example, it's been around a long time, it's run by big companies, it's well trusted, top managers use it. That would be an example of giving the credibility of the thing. That's ethos. With pathos, we would talk about the emotions. For example, as an immigrant with English as a second language, I'm nervous about saying the wrong thing, especially in a work environment. When I use AI, it gives me that feeling of support that I'm using the right thing, so I'm communicating more effectively. So that's your emotion, that's your pleasure, right? And remember, pleasure and pain are flip side of the same coin. So you gain pleasure by using AI, and you avoid the pain of making mistakes in the office. So it's the same idea, just flip side of the same coin.
Yeah.
And logos would be your numbers, which again, it's like either how many reports you have to do a day, or how easy it is to use ChatGPT, or if there's a paid service, you're asking your company to install. Like it's well worth the cost because of the effectiveness the employees can have using it. So that's again just that's how we would structure that debate or conversation about why we should implement or use AI. Very good, Katie.
Oh,
Excellent.
okay. Thank you.
Great job. Anyone else have any feedback or thoughts or questions? Sharif?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
So I wanna recap on the topic. My The participants in my breakout session. Um, Her name is Ding Zhao, and I hope I pronounced the name accurately. She proposed an idea about the need for remote work to the manager. What was impressive that she started with the ethos, which is the objective and the idea itself, and she showed up with a lot of points about the benefits, which is the pleasure of it, and she made a very smart preemptive move by covering the pain when she mentioned that we can adapt the plan accordingly. And there is a room for feedback and alteration or refining in it. Um, she also put a kind of big picture or a framework how to implement this, the methods of communication and reporting, the touch points. So again, what was really impressive in her proposal that um, she was ahead of thinking of the manager to push back and showing up the risk by securing it with effective solutions plus the room for feedback.
Mhm. Excellent. Thank you, Sharif. I think that you bring up a very good point, is that when people get comfortable with these types of formulas, communication formulas, persuasion formula in this case, is that not only can you get good at presenting your arguments or suggestions, but you get good at anticipating what will be the pushback. You get good at anticipating what will be the objections. And then, as you mentioned, you may even include them in your initial pitch or initial conversation to really make your position stronger. And it sounds like that's what Jing did. And that's a very good point for everybody here. The more you use these formulas, whether it's this one from today or a different one from another day, you reinforce them by practicing them again in low stakes environments or role plays like we're doing today, and then they get sharper in your brain. They stick to your brain more so that when you need them, they come out of your mouth. We don't always get the chance to prepare. If you do have the chance to prepare for a meeting, of course, do your notes at nighttime, make your thoughts on paper, whatever. But if you don't, you should still be able to try to remember ethos, pathos, logos, ethos, pathos, logos, ethos, at least have those three words in your head and what they mean. So as you're in the middle of a conversation, you can put your best foot forward as well as anticipate their resistance. Very good. Excellent. Thank you very much, Sharif. Lily, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to share what we discussed in room 5
Mhm.
with Ali. Because Ali tried to persuade me to buy a Tesla Model 3 car imported from Shanghai. I feel she used Pathos and logos very well because she compare, Tesla with other gas-consuming cars in terms of monthly cost. Because she know me personally very well. I commute for long distance. I also, worry about my monthly expense. The only thing I see is missing is she herself doesn't drive Tesla, So basically, it's secondhand information. My question is, if you do not have the ethos ready, like for example, in Ali's situation, you are not a Tesla driver yourself. How can you persuade your friend to buy a Tesla?
Yeah, very good question. Really, really good question. And so we have to do our best to fill in the ethos pathos logos as best as possible. Having a strong pathos logos helps, but ethos itself, remember, credibility comes from two things, either you, the speaker, or the idea itself. So you, the speaker, not you, but your friend, it could either be like, I don't have a Tesla now, but I'm definitely going to buy it the next time our lease is up. For example, let's say your friend is locked into a 12-month lease with the car, just for example, then that's a good reason why they're not buying a Tesla now. They're saying, look, I've got this car until 2 years or something. I'm definitely getting a Tesla because I've done all this research. In addition to that, the credibility of the Tesla or the model or the EV, that's the other thing that could be presented. And so once again, this would be combined with, I know I'm driving a different car now, but after doing all this research on the EV market, doing all this research on Teslas, I have decided that my next car is going to be that. And my next car, by the way, will be in 2 years when my lease is up. So therefore, since you're thinking right now of buying a car, I'm going to tell you, I strongly advise you buy a Tesla. So that's the best you can do with that situation, because I agree with you. If they're not driving a Tesla now, it looks kind of funny. But if they're if they're able to say, I'm going to buy it and here's why, it's going to be more helpful to the argument.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm the same rooms
Good.
as a lady, so I want to try to convince her. I use my friend's example, and I begin with a big news and with a big discount, only 45K. Now it's a big promotions, and also my friends, 2/3 of my friends already changed to Tesla. I will change Tesla next month.
Right.
So I use the numbers also, and the idea is actually is from my friends, but I want to convince her. Thank you so much for your comment.
You're welcome. I just want to add one comment to your comment, which is try your best not to start with numbers. Not to start with numbers. Start with, in order, ethos, pathos, logos. Okay. The reason why is this. If I'm a salesman at any shop and you come to my shop and the first thing I say to you is, hi, our sales rack is over here. Our sales rack is over here. The feeling is, I looked at you, I think you're cheap, go to the sales rack. Do you see my point? Because I'm assuming right from the beginning, you're only interested in getting a sale. So a bad salesperson would do that, would say, welcome to my store. Our sales are over here. Let me know if you have any questions. A good salesperson would say, what brings you to our store? And they try to find out what's going on, because your issue may have nothing to do with price. Just for example, your car may have, got ditched and destroyed, and now you need a car in 24 hours. It may not be about price. It may be about need or necessity. So just to give a fair warning to everybody that ethos, pathos, logos in that order works the best. It's not to say you can't.
Yes.
Yeah, but that order will be better. Tell the story
I'm not
first.
with the number. Sorry, I'm not in the number first, because I just want to bring up. I use number on the third part.
Okay, good.
Begin with whose idea, and the second one with
okay.
now gas. We consumption very high.
Okay.
So that's the third reason. Thank you so much for your recommend. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? We're running out of time, but I want to give everyone a chance to say something if they have any questions, comments about that exercise.
Yeah, Rick, you mentioned this. I remember the last entrepreneur mentoring program with Martin Copeland, and he did mention a salesperson. When you try to sell, you try to sell those feeling, the emotion, like how you feel about, say, a car. That's the most important. Like people will be really impressed. You cause that sensation on people's mind. Like, yeah.
Yeah, we have a saying that says, people don't buy products and services, people buy feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Mr. Copeland would agree. That's the thing that we have to get to is people don't buy products and services, they buy feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sheriff was there too. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much, Rick.
Thank you. So are there any other, I know we were going to try to do 2 breakouts. We don't have time, but I'm glad that everyone's had a chance to speak. Are there any more questions or comments or examples from this? And I'll take just another minute to wrap up the session, but I want to give everyone a chance to speak if they haven't yet. Does anyone else have anything to add or to share?
Hi, Rick.
Hi, Jing. How are you?
Sorry I'm late. Sorry I'm late. I'm really glad I catch it, and I really learned a lot. Because it's not just about communication skills. It's about read actions thinking pattern, and I really like it because I used to prefer to leap in logic, but you just helped me. It's very simple, clear, and it's really helpful. And I think it's very useful even in interviews or when you apply for a job.
Yes.
So I really appreciate that. I catch it. I didn't miss it, although I'm a little bit late. Sorry for that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you caught it. I'm glad you enjoyed it and you took part in the breakout and you've got your feeling. And as you said, even for someone who's a job seeker, this formula can be very useful. And that's what I want everyone to think about, is that these formulas they're tools and you can use them for different scenarios at different times. And the more you practice it, the better you'll be at it.
Yeah. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane.
Hello, Rick. This is
Yes.
Jeffrey. I have a
Yes.
question. I have a question about the formula. So there are three parts of the formula: Ethos, Pathos, and the logos. Do we have any specific sequence when we use the three parts? So
the best thing to do is go in order: ethos, pathos, logos. However, if some reason it doesn't happen that way because you're in a live conversation, that's okay. Let's say, for example, you're talking to someone and they immediately start talking about numbers. Then, of course, you can counter their argument with your numbers. And then at some point in your brain, you go, okay, I've covered the last one, logos, but I still want to mention somewhere ethos, pathos. So if you have the opportunity to present first or to say something first, then generally speaking, ethos, pathos, logos is the best order. However, during a live conversation or debate, as long as you're including all three at some point, that's also fine. Because I do believe it's important to be a good active listener. And I do believe it's important to react to what the person said, not something that they didn't say. So if they start with numbers, go ahead and have that conversation first.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Welcome, Jeff.
If I am going to buy a car, and then I asked all the prices, things, because I need to change the car, upgraded my car, but the agent or the salesman says, "Oh, you buy this car, you have to buy the services." And then I said, "Why I need to buy services? I don't want to buy." So I need to persuade him to say, "I don't want to buy services." But they said, "Oh, this is combined. You have to." I said, "A government said you cannot."
Right.
So, but he still put the prices in.
Yeah. This is a half an hour conversation, right? Like no, I mean, like we could talk about this for 30 minutes because there's so many different ways to possibly respond. I mean, some people might advise you to kind of walk away or at least pretend to walk away until that salesperson comes to terms with things. Other people may suggest to use pure logic, which is to bring forth on your iPhone or something, the actual law itself, or ask that person to produce real proof and give you a chance to review that. Which will slow down the sales process for both of you, which is probably more bothersome for him than you. So there's different ways to do it. But again, with ethos, pathos, logos, if it's a logos issue of what is the law or what is the fee, then that's a pure logical thing where somebody has to show somebody something. Or some people might say, okay, the negotiations, I don't think this is right, but I'm just going to take your word for it. I'm going to accept that. However, I want kind of a lower price on the other end. So that some people may use it as a negotiating tactic. For example, in Ontario, we charge HST, right? 13% sales tax. So somebody might say, look, I know you've got to charge sales tax. You can't stop that, but I'm going to ask you to give me a 10% discount, or I'm going to ask you to, knock 20 bucks off before you charge tax. It's perfectly legal to ask. It's a negotiation. It's a request. They don't have to say yes or no. But for example, in my business, like with coaching, there's oftentimes I'll give someone a 10% discount when they pay in advance. But I still charge the 13% sales tax after. So, but they're still feeling, hey, 10% is 10%. So you can also use that stuff as negotiation tactics as part of the overall conversation. So that's kind of my first thought on what I would do with these types of logos issue.
Oh, okay. It's just I think they just want to make money.
Yeah, thinking is one thing and knowing is the other. So not trusting them is the problem in the sales industry, but we want to get to the bottom of what is the legal requirements or not. And if that means we have to step away and think about it, then we'll step away and we'll think about it. And that's maybe what you need to do.
So I do need to say pull out the government document. So you cannot bundle these services in my selling my car to me, right?
Or ask them for proof and give you a chance to review it, right? Like, so it's
Okay.
we don't want to call someone a liar. They may be telling the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah,
We
yeah,
just
yeah.
we just want a chance to make sure that we understand what is the reality. That's all. So it can be said very politely, right? Like, oh, I didn't know
Right.
about that. I need a chance to review that. Do you happen to have that, or you don't? Okay, I've got to go home and research that then. Well, it's very polite, but it lets the person know that you're gonna consider this. You're gonna evaluate it first, and lets them know you're a smart shopper. So you could do that.
Okay. Thank you. Because it's both ways. They persuade me, and I want to persuade.
Yeah, there's not one answer. That's just an example. There's other things that could be done, but I don't have time. Sharif, I'm going to hold your question for now because the time is limited. I've got to wrap up here. Let me just sort of finish off. Everyone can see my screen now. Just as a quick review. So ethos is the credibility of you and your idea. A lot of people only do the first part, which is credibility of the speaker. So again, I'm adding, it's not just the speaker, it's the speaker's idea or proposal as well. Pathos is your emotional appeal, which is the pain you're trying to avoid and the pleasure you're trying to gain, or that they will avoid and they will gain even better. And logos is some kind of logical appeal. Numbers are the universal language, whether it's money or percentages, it's a good way to communicate. And ideally, practice. Now, this last part says, now go practice more. I'm glad we had a chance to practice today. I'm glad everyone was very vocal and communicated with your questions at the end. We got to chat a bit. I'm really happy about that. But these webinars do go fast. So try to find an opportunity to practice again with somebody, a friend, a loved one. Just say, hey, look, this is what I want to do. Like, just here's a formula and I want to practice, just like we did in the breakout today. So wrapping up, if you have any questions for me, I'm going to use my arrow. You can see my LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can send me an email. If you want to keep in touch with NCC Canada, we are on some social media, but we do have a newsletter. We have YouTube videos that we're building up on our YouTube channel. And we do events, as I've mentioned before. So from our point of view, our next events, if you're interested, we have a webinar, free webinar, which is called Lessons from Mark Bowden on Coaching and Communication on June 16th. Mark Bowden, if you don't know him, is a world-class body language expert and communication coach and guru. He's trained prime ministers and high-level people. So we're lucky to have him as our president. So he will be sharing a little bit on coaching and some communication tips. And
we include that event in our newsletter as well.
I know. I appreciate. I saw that. Thank you. It's good. We cross promote. It's good.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
We're also doing a spring social mixer, which is a networking event in person at a local Toronto pub on June 25th. This is after, by the way, an NCCA Canada / East and West Learning Connections webinar. We'll do a webinar in the daytime, and then if you're interested, there's a mixer in the end. So this is, if you're in Toronto and you want to come to an afternoon and spend $10 and go and rub shoulders with Mark Bowden and myself and other communication coaches and just chat about communication and body language and have some beer and food, then that's for you. So if you're interested in anything, just go to the events page and you'll see the calendar and you can sign up where the links are, or you can just email me. That's it. So there's my plug for today. I'm going to stop sharing. And once again, I want to just say thank you to everyone for joining today and for participating. And I look forward to our next event, which I've just mentioned is in a month. And I don't know the topic yet, but we will definitely find out, and maybe your feedback will help shape that topic. Thanks to everyone for joining. And I'm done. Yang, Chloe, anything else to say?
No, thank you very much, Rick and Chloe.
For inquiries, please contact info@eawlc.org or visit our website at www.eawlc.org.